Somebody. Morning, Carol.
Good morning, David.
Well, it turns out you could have come after all. Of course.
Of course.
And the
Are they done?
and for whatever reason, the camera on my computer is not working again.
No.
I am completely flummoxed by that. I suppose I should get some professional help, which I haven't done. Very weird.
Very weird.
Windows updated, and that um, frequently gets rid of the camera.
How old is the computer? It's not that old.
No, it's not. It's not more than 2 years. I don't know really how much.
Mhm.
I'd have to go back and look.
What kind is it?
Asus. It's a good computer. Other than that particular issue, I like it a lot.
Mhm.
Morning, Bill.
Morning. Morning, Carol.
Good morning, Bill.
You're not at David's.
No, no. He was thinking he would have plumbers all over the place, but they don't seem to be there. Did they finish it, David? Or are they?
No, the plumbers were here yesterday and did as much as they could, but discovered that there was some more. I'm not sure whether it's electrical or carpentry needs to be done before they go ahead.
Oh,
And supposedly the electrician was coming this morning and the carpenter this afternoon, but no electrician has showed up. So,
well, if we'd come out, they would have.
absolutely, absolutely. If you were here, they would have appeared. Uh, we're just trying to flow with this project.
Mhm.
uh, Actually, they've been pretty good so far, but um, we seem to be at a kind of an interesting impasse at the moment. And I'm still trying to understand what's going on. Hi, Bill.
Hey,
Hi, Bill.
how you doing? I'm running late. I obviously omitted my comb this morning.
Nothing like Zoom to make you do things to your hair
Yeah,
or your beard, I suppose.
fuzzy effect. Yeah.
um, that's right, Bill. Joanne is even later. Well, there she is. Or, yes, it is, Joanne.
It even says her name.
Hi, Joanne.
Hey, everybody.
Morning.
Morning. Sorry, I'm a little late. Thought I sat down early and something came my way, got in the way.
Uh, of course, Joanne, nobody showed up this morning. We could have done this out here,
Oh, no, no, no plumber. Could have been Carol and I instead of the plumbers. Oh,
but
well, you never know, though. You never know.
no, no, there are three, three groups trying to
Coordinate.
coordinate, and so it's interesting. They've done pretty well so far. So um, we'll see what happens today.
Great.
What's your project?
Oh, we're completely renovating the downstairs bathroom and putting in a stall shower and stackable washer and dryer.
Nice.
Yeah, it will be very nice when it's done. It's a total mess at the moment.
Yeah, in the meantime.
Yeah.
Luckily, you have another bathroom.
Luckily, yes, indeed, indeed.
And my sister's house, her husband is a woodworker, and her kids would go off to college and come back and found the bathroom in a whole different place. I think it happened 3 times.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
wow.
Twice anyway.
Well, I'm looking forward to this. It looks like it's going to be a really nice addition to our house, but got to go through the chaos
Yep.
in order to get there. So, anyway, onward and upward. Well, I don't know whether you could hear it, but
You could. I could.
pretty musical today.
Pretty musical today, yes.
So it started with a clang for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh well, that's Zoom for you.
That's Zoom.
True.
So, questions, reports, anything come up for you this week in your practice?
Well, I finally listened to that class I missed, where
Mm-hmm.
you introduced the dissolving, and that was very helpful because it said, okay, I don't have to think about all the other things I'm thinking about.
Right.
I can just focus on dissolving and let my body take care of the rest of it, which is quite a relief.
Yeah. Good. Good. Anyone else? No? Okay.
No, I mean, yeah. I feel like as I work on a blockage, new ones are created during the week. It's like,
They probably aren't created.
there's no end. It's not like, oh, good, they're gone. Like, oh, there's another one.
Well, yeah, I mean, by the time we get to our age, not necessarily mine, but yours, you have, if you have not paid attention to them previously, you've created quite a few blockages.
Yes, yes.
And one of the things to remember is that they exist at different levels in your body.
Uh-huh.
So you can have a blockage at the level of your physical body, but also at the level of your etheric body, your mental body, right on, right on through. So when you do get a resolution of a blockage, it may release awareness of those that are underneath, or at least the next one. So that's not an unusual response, actually. Other issues for anybody? The bills?
I've had an uncomfortable week because my sacrum was hurting. I saw the chiropractor yesterday, and it's better this morning. So,
Oh, good.
um, yeah, but that really, when you have that kind of,
Yeah.
pain and stuff, it really, uh, meditation works well, but doing God's or any of the
Yeah.
form is a little bit, you're sort of lopsided. And
Well, I completely understand that. So you're better today, or
yeah, I'd say at least so far, dramatically better today. So,
well, be careful. Be careful.
Yeah.
yeah, when I get bad, I still am mowing the grass and carrying loads of wheelbarrow stuff and things like
Oh, well.
that. Because
Hello.
I refuse to admit that I can't
Ah,
do stuff
oh, that we're
until I
getting
can.
older and that our bodies don't respond.
Right, right.
Well, there will come a point where you can't do everything.
My body responds, unfortunately.
Tells you, huh? Like, nope,
And
nope.
that's demonstrated a lot. I picked up several bags of wood chips, and I picked up one of our grandsons, and I took it on the way home to unload it for me. So these things weigh, I don't know, 30 pounds a piece or something. And I said to him jokingly, you could carry those one on each shoulder and save time trips. That's to walk about 40 feet with these things. So he did it. I would have had the wheelbarrow there, dragging the things out of the trunk into the wheelbarrow, dragging them off the wheelbarrow. They just carried them down there and threw them on where I wanted them to
Right.
be. So things have dramatically changed.
Yeah, I remember carrying 100-pound bags of feed around when I was
Oh,
on the ranch,
Yeah,
and I couldn't even budge 100 pounds now,
no, no.
and shouldn't.
And shouldn't even try because it's sometimes in the trying that, yeah, there goes the
Yep.
sacrum again. Yep.
So, um, I would like to do this practice again. Um, and Bill, maybe you don't want to do a full set. Um, do what's reasonable for you. Um, but don't overdo. Remember Master Joe's rules. um, so if you'll stand up, if you can. And remember, you're just going to practice what is good for you.
Mhm.
So even though my words may suggest more, um, stick with what's good for you. So make that connection to the earth and the universe. And let your breathing slow, lengthen, and smooth. And then extend your mind through your body. Feel the interior of your body, from the crown of your head to the bottoms of your feet, and into your etheric body if you can. and begin God's. Starting from the crown of your head, scan down, and if you feel a blockage inside your physical body, begin using downward dissolving only. You could use the energy of your Neigong components to energize your ability to dissolve. So when you're focused on that first blockage, ice to water, water to inner space, so you're trying to resolve that blockage into emptiness. You might find the Neigong components helping you to open up the blockage even better. But just go for what's getting the result. Hopefully you can release down to the lower dantian and complete resolving your blockage into emptiness. Now, how weak or how strong that emptiness is completely individual. And if you arrive in that emptiness space, give your system the time to integrate it into anything that's in your body. And then when the emptiness seems to have expanded as much as it can, just stay with it and enjoy it. And after some period of time, something is going to occur. You'll naturally shrink back and just feel normal. But open to a sense of buzzing. And that will be what is located at the next deeper layer of the blockage. You could go for dissolving that layer of the blockage. And if so, you would begin all over again. Ice to water. Water to inner space. You keep working down your body until you reach your lower dantian. Keep on dissolving the blocked point until it resolves into emptiness. Stay with that open space. Enjoy it. Enjoy the feeling until it shrinks back to normal. And then keep on dissolving until you reach another resolution. As you go into movement 7, you want it to be one piece with everything else. Let go of all the thoughts in your mind. Nothing exists except turning your spine and your neck. The inside of your head becomes empty. No thoughts. Just the sense of open space. Let all the tension inside your brain release until any tension leaves your brain. And when you do close, if you didn't get all the way down, gently go ahead and take your chi to your lower dantian and stabilize it until it becomes calm and clear. Good. So how was that? Problems, questions, revelations?
Well, I'm in a pattern right now that where the dissolving is not difficult, but I have trouble keeping my mind on it because my mind really is focused on uh, the form itself.
Mm.
And I've been making some progress lately in terms of rounding the corners and keeping the speed of the movement constant,
Mm-hmm.
2 through 7, at all points. And that feels good.
Uh-huh.
And I get attached to that, and the dissolving floats in and out of that. So that's where I am at the point. I've done dissolving, so I'm not thinking that it's
Mhm.
difficult,
Mm-hmm.
or that I'm not getting it. It's just that my mind is mostly on something else right now.
Yeah. And that's it's probably where it needs to be at this point. Um, One of the things I do have a few more comments to make, but pretty basically I'm not going to be adding anything new to this practice,
Uh-huh. That's
which
good.
may be a relief to you. I don't know. um, so one of the things I want you to do this week as you practice is to try to be uh, clearly aware of where you have confusion,
Mhm.
you're unsure, um, and really try to begin to know whether you completely understand each step that we've gone through. Because we've done a lot
Yeah.
in the last 4 years.
Yep.
Believe it or not, we've been working on this for 4 years.
Wow.
um, and if nothing else, I'm sure you recognize that you all, we all, by all means, let me include myself in this. We all have quite a ways to go yet.
Yeah.
It's one of the wonderful things about all of these practices. There is no end. You can keep improving.
Mm.
Um, so I didn't mean to get too far away here from what I had asked you. Anyone else have a response to doing that?
No, I mean, I feel like but maybe a little bit like Bill. I mean, I feel like there's still places in the form I'm really trying to get better and then not have to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
Yep.
second I finished three, I was like, oh, I wonder if my hands crossed my middle. Like it's just kind of like just trying to,
Yep.
make sure I'm doing it right. And then some of the others I don't have to think about at all. They feel more ingrained in me, although you may see
Yeah.
flaws. I'm sure. um, so then the dissolving to some degree comes and goes.
Yep. And so it may be that you should not try to dissolve at this point. I mean, any of you. Maybe that's something to come back to later on. Um, looking back and being aware of each step of what we have done is not a
Mm,
bad thing to do. Because it's been a lot, and it's very easy to have lost bits and pieces along the way. So, Bill or Carol?
I think for me, I'm still moving the energy up from the lower dantian on up higher as I don't have that feeling going as I go higher.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for some reason today, as we were doing it, I was tr- working on the dissolving, you know, moving
Mm-hmm.
in that same direction, and I still have that sacrum thing is going on, and that's
mm,
sort of shouts at you. But there's other small, subtle blockages, and I'm not sure why, but I started thinking the twisting and spiraling. Um, well, I don't really feel it in the legs than I do in the arm extremities more. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it is somehow helped with that. I started thinking
mm.
about that because that's one place where I'm really aware that I might be twisting from my elbow out and not so much up here. And then
Mm-hmm.
I think about including everything and being more purposeful with all of that part, and that helps with rounding and the flow of the energy a lot too. And
Yep.
so as I was, particularly in, I guess, what is it, 2 and 6 or 5, 2 and 5
Good five.
was working well after I started thinking about that more, and
Uh-huh.
got some in the legs also, and that somehow opened up the core, uh, at least for a while. So going back to things we did very early on with twisting, uh, and realizing I've been a little sloppy with it is interesting.
Yeah, that's good. Um, yeah, we have gone through so many steps that it's very easy to have not completed fully integrating some of the earlier ones. So that's what at this point that's where your focus should probably be is to review and to begin to recognize um, things that you need to fully integrate before you move on, and not be concerned about um, dissolving, among other things, and even moving the energy up and down the body with reverse breathing and, until the other things are really fully integrated and comfortable. Because the mind can only hold so many pieces at once and have to arrive at the point where you don't have to hold them in the
Right.
mind.
Yep.
So, Carol, anything for you?
Um, the blockages I've been working on have been very physical discomforts in the body,
Mm-hmm.
and they seem very resistant to
Mm,
to dissolving. Um, but I've been playing a little bit more with staying in the water part of that.
Mm-hmm.
That,
mm,
that I've been like trying to time the with a breath of acknowledging it as ice and turning it into water and then to gas. Well, it just seems lately that let's stay with water for a while. Let's just feel like it, what it feels like to turn it into water. And maybe eventually I can turn it into gas. Let's just float it for a while. And that's been interesting. It's been, uh,
And that's very good. Um, we tend, and certainly at one point I recognize that I was guilty of this too. We tend to want to rush on
yeah.
to, to water to gas or water to inner space. And just repeating ice to water and sticking with that until you feel something change
Hmm.
is really an important step in dissolving. Because our tendency is, let's get to the end of this. And the end is nice, but we have to go through the steps too in order to fully get there. So that's good staying with the water. That's very good.
It also feels more in touch with nature.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is not a right. We don't normally see things go quickly from ice to water and water to gas, boom, right? And we become this like microwave society, as much as we try not to be like boom, 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 get it done, And I think, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I resonate with what you just said, Carol, because I think as I was, particularly at the end, kind of, calming in the Dante end, it was water, not gas. I was very clear about that. It was telling me, yeah. And that felt okay.
Yes, it is.
It felt okay, but
I like your microwave thing.
Yep.
We could hop into the Chi microwave and get it all done in 30 seconds.
Well, I find that in the work I do around social change, people are like, boom, 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 get it done. And it's like things just don't happen that way.
No.
And when they do, it's usually not a good thing.
Right.
A little bit of a crash.
Absolutely. So, one thing I'd like you to be aware of is that in Taoist meditation, what we have done is just the generic, regular dissolving. Whatever you come in contact with. But in this world, another method that's in Taoism meditation is dissolving with an agenda. And sometimes things happen in life that are just a definite focus, and believe me, you don't have any doubt what that one thing or focus is. So it's an agenda. And for some people, it's being able to do things better. For some, and for other people, it's not having somebody. For some people, it's whatever. So there are all sorts of things in the life that if we were connected, things would go a lot better. So remember, if you want to do an agenda, it is described fairly accurately in Bruce's book, Relaxing into Being, that a few hours, or at least a half an hour before you do God's, really consider what your agenda is, and then just forget it. And when you start God's, those blockages that are, blockages that are with that agenda can start coming up inside you. And this becomes very important if you have some sort of a explosion at work, or some sort of an explosion in family life, or even just somebody or thing on the highway that just did something that really and truly was insane. So considering you can do the inner dissolving in God's in the same way you can do it in any form of Taoist meditation. Generally, to clear out whatever is blocked and clear it out is like taking a daily shower or bath if you have agendas that you really want to resolve, or if you have giant shocks in your life. By taking whatever that shock is, God can help you to clear it out really very rapidly. Now, you can't engineer shock that you don't know was going to happen as you're walking down the street, or a car hitting you. You can't engineer that feeling, that experience. It just all of a sudden happened. But you could use the methods of inner dissolving within God's, and some people find that, especially for tremendous shocks they've had, that either sitting meditation or moving meditation allows them to clear it out of themselves better and more easily and smoothly. And there is no way of knowing what it's going to be for an individual. Now, the easiest way to learn how to genuinely meditate is sitting down with your body not moving, so you only focus inside. Once you're doing God's, how much of your attention is going to get drawn into the movements and the moving of the energy within the movements? And that could be a distraction. So the meditation at the beginning that are included with God's should be done independently. Quite commonly, after you do a whole set of God's, you are absolutely primed to sit down and start doing them. And there is no doubt, because the energy in your system is running strong enough that the ability to dissolve inside yourself is going to become stronger than it would have been previously. Now, I want to cover some topics that I hope you will be able to help you integrate the things we've started working on together. So we did reverse breathing, which is more powerful and in many ways more desirable. But you cannot do if you cannot do regular Taoist breathing easily and well, reverse breathing actually is not better. As a matter of fact, it may be worse. The whole trick is that with regular Taoist breathing, front, sides, back, and kidneys, which you are also doing in reverse breathing, have to be completely comfortable and completely smooth before you start doing reverse breathing. And the question will be the most productive or safest way to work through these Neigong. There is no fixed way. Just go in the order that it was taught in this program, which was specifically designed so each one would open up the ability to do the next one. Don't get lost in the Neigong or getting too crazy about moving energy. The whole thing is that as you focus on each specific way to generate qi in your body and move it, the fact is that somehow it's going to make it easy to do with all the previous methods that you've done. And you may not even understand why, but it will happen. And the Tao of Qigong is about embodied practice. It's not about thinking about it. It's about being able to have your body do it, not your head. Now, if you want to use what's in God's plane in the clouds, to start with getting higher performance, then there are two things you can do. The first one is you always spend the time when you're working on one movement. Forget about doing it for 20 minutes. You do it for more than an hour or even more. And the second one is that if you're doing it, for example, for meditation, the central issue is how deeply, as you are doing the Neigong components, is it driving you into the depths of your mind. Now, if you're doing it for physical performance, the question is, how can you increase the internal pressure inside your body so it creates more power in your hands for whatever martial arts you are doing? The lessons in the past 2, 3 years, 4 years are beginning to set the context for working with the psychic energy body. But why only but we only touched on that very, very lightly. So the only advice is the same one that has been given to musicians for hundreds of years. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. So all I can really and truly recommend is that you practice. It is a funny thing that once you really get what it is, you don't have to put as much effort into it. You just have to continue it. The hard part is you have to put in so much practice so you can actually get what it is, so you can effortlessly continue it. Bruce said he would truly like to thank his teacher, Liu Hongjie, for teaching him this, even though he had studied all the 16 methods of the Neigong during the 7 years he was a Taoist priest. It was only when he spent time, the 3 years with Liu, that he actually learned how to do them. It was thanks to his compassion in suggesting that Bruce teach this to as many people in the West who could truly benefit from it. So, thoughts or questions? Okay, so this week as you practice, really try to think about anything that you might want to review or look at a little more deeply. Any way that I can help you, I will be delighted to do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
Have a great week.
You too.
You too. I will be right back.
Okay. communications from both the electrician and the carpenter.
They're coming tomorrow?
I have no idea. I I didn't I didn't think this was the time to get into it. Whatever it is.
Well, if you want to take a moment and check and see if they're waiting for you to say, "Oh yeah, come."
Well, certainly the carpenter is not. Let me see what David. He wants me to call him.
Okay.
Which I'll do after class. So, um, any form questions? Don't know how much time you had to practice this week, but
Okay.
Not as much as I wanted, but I did. Thursday morning, about 8:25, I got one of those emergency calls that like threw the week off, threw off Thursday and Friday and et cetera, et cetera. So it's like, wait a minute, I have to practice that. I
yeah,
think I am trying to do both, and that is a challenge at times. I think I am looking forward to when we get together, just in terms of the things I'm trying. I think that since David, several months ago, I think I asked you to kind of go through some of the parts that I was struggling with. I haven't done the third paragraph in ages, I have to say, but just trying to get through that the end part of paragraph 2. I don't have any particular questions, but I kind of feel like it's probably more a matter of doing it with you, that doing it in front of you. And then you'll go, oh no, you're not really doing this. And I do know I need to round my corners more at times, and I need to stop stopping. I think that's kind of like, oh, here I am.
yep.
It's more often. Here I am. What's next?
What's next, right? And sometimes it's just like, when you know what's next, there just seems to be places. I think about it. It's funny because I did go back to looking at that video, and at one point I'd asked you to do I think something around Subdued Tiger, and then I said, oh, keep going, and then my comment was, I think of this as really one big section, right? So I'm very good about where I feel like, oh, there are these sections, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sections, as if I'd sectioned them off. Maybe that's how we learn them. Maybe it's just that you don't have to think about the next one. Or I haven't in a long time had to think about the next one.
Yeah.
But somehow I still do stop at times. and so that's kind of, I think, a piece of what I'm really trying. I haven't done Tai Chi with music in a long time. Just as I was saying that, I was wondering if that would help. But just keep, it, even when when you know what's next, just don't stop at the end of play Peepaw. There are a couple of places I tend to stop more. I'm aware of that, right? Like, that's one of them.
Yeah.
The end of Monkey, like it's like, oh, here I am.
Right.
No.
Right. No, I completely understand, and it is one of those steps that you really have to focus on at some point, when the individual postures are comfortable and flowing, then you can work on the flow of the whole thing. But it's pretty hard to do that if you haven't fully integrated each posture.
Well, right. And so I know that kind of again from right after High Pat, that part was the challenge, um but up to there I should be okay.
Yeah.
Up to there I shouldn't have to be, like wondering how to, I mean, on the other hand, I think like maybe wave hands as an example where you've corrected me a few times in the last few months. So then you're back to thinking, oh, I thought I had it, but no, I'm not. I need to adjust, or I'm stopping in the middle of that one. I think that was the last comment, like, oh, yeah, here we go. Boom. It's like, no. So I think even though, these are layers, right?
They are.
Yeah, they really are. And then the more you do it, the more you realize you need to keep doing it better.
One of the things Bruce did in teaching form work that I found really helpful was that both when you're learning or relearning a posture or a short section, to just repeat it 10, 20 times. Repeat it a lot in your practice. Don't go on.
Right.
And that really helps get it into your body. We get so focused on flowing the whole thing that we fail to fully resolve issues, along the way. So sometimes practice doesn't include flowing through the whole form if you don't have time. It only includes working on a posture or a short section. Yep.
Yeah, no, you're right. And then, but not leaving the rest behind. I think I've done that a few too many times too.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh God, really? Remember how to say. So it has to be a little bit of a both and, yeah.
Yes, it does. You're right.
Just knowing that I can. I mean, it is like riding a bike again, I guess. But there are things you can lose things if you don't keep that practice going. In order to. Thinking of that, as you were saying before, there's a phrase that I say a lot: in order to practice nonviolence, you have to practice nonviolence. And I think it's the same for Tai Chi, right? In order to practice it, you have to practice it.
Right.
You just have to keep going.
Yeah.
And then you're not thinking about it.
Right.
Right. It is more natural. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can be in person next week. Hopefully things
I'm afraid I couldn't next week, but I can. I'm leaving town the next day for 5 days. But yeah, okay. But that day is okay.
Well,
so yeah, you think it'll be done by then, or at least they won't be that noisy by then?
Yeah, that's my hope.
Okay.
Things are moving along, so it's one step at a time.
Yeah, right, exactly. And you're not in control.
No, and we're shuffling 3 elements, the carpenter, the electrician, and the plumber, and they have to synchronize what they're doing because they can't always one person complete everything at once.
Right. Yeah. It's not like you're done. You're done. Yeah. Right. No, I understand that, doing housing work and the like. Yeah.
But I think maybe we can hopefully be able to do it next week.
Yeah. Does that work for you, Carol?
Yeah, I think so. John has TT scheduled at 1:15 in Lisbon, but we should be done here enough time for me to get home and get him.
Yeah.
Before we have to leave at 12:30.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Even if we go a little over, that should get you home. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Great.
practice, practice, practice.
We will.
Thank you,
Hoping,
guys.
hoping. Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. See you next week.
See you next week.